So where can our kids go to? What nation will take our children from these gang-ridden cities? What sanctuary do our children have? Does it feel like an emergency to you, a state of emergency? Are you living in one of those states, one of those sanctuary cities or states like California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Vermont, or Washington? Are you living somewhere where my governor, Greg Abbott, is sending people, illegal migrants that have been allowed into the country by yours truly, President Biden and his administration? Are you getting those busloads of people in your state? Good for you. If you voted for Biden and you believe in sanctuary cities and you believe that your state has the financial wherewithal to handle it, and you think that there should not be any borders, I say go as far as what Mayor Eric Adams was saying, because he doesn't know where to put anybody, to just volunteer your home, open your home up. But guess what? At Randall Park, and we're going to be talking about this, in New York City, which is a soccer park, right? A very large park, there are 2,000 expected male illegal migrants that will be living there, so that the people of the city of New York will literally not be able to enjoy that park. And by the way, I'm going to give credit to Mayor Adams before we get back to this. I'm going to go into why, because there are very few Democrats, and for that matter, even some Republicans. Let's just be honest. I saw this really funny meme that my friend had posted, and it showed like the Democrats. Bill Clinton was one of the faces, like they were in caricature with the Republicans, some of the Republicans all sleeping in the same bed. And you know, it's so weird. Before that caricature even came out, when I was maybe about, I think I was maybe about 18 years old or something. And I remember having this conversation with my mom, who I've told you before, she's from Cuba. And she said to me one time, she said, really realize what if you're protesting something or if you're out there speaking politically, really look deep into both parties and make sure that the parties really diverge, like are different on that policy. Because I think what you'll find, and she said this, is that both camps are mainly sleeping in the same bed, just taking two different roads and pretending that they're two different roads until they get to the same spot, which is the spot where they all want to be, which is what we're seeing in Washington, D.C., which is a swamp, right? They just have two different ideas about how they're getting there. But I think we are seeing a state of emergency in many of our cities, from Oakland, California, where the NAACP is begging for a state of emergency because the DA is so out of control, she's let that entire city fall apart, to Mayor Eric Adams, who is basically now saying, hey, guess what, President Biden? We're not putting up with this anymore. We are not going to take this. He's saying it in a weird way, but it's kind of a side way. I wish it would be just directly in the face. Like, it's okay, Mayor Adams, it is okay to tell President Biden and his administration that they are screwing up, and that they are screwing up big time, to the point and the tune of billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, in New York alone. This crisis right now could cost the city $12 billion as more people are being bused. And thank you very much, Governor Abbott, my governor, the great state of Texas. Thank you very much for doing this. Because what the Democrats want and what Mayorkas wants is to bury it. They don't want you to see the reality of this. They don't want you to realize the cost of this. They don't want you to actually understand the impact of this until it is so late that it is just come right over the top of you like quicksand and you're drowning. Folks, Allegiance Gold. Allegiance Gold allows you to protect what you've worked so hard for, right? And it gives you back the control and the privacy that you need. And because reputation is important to me, and I tell you all the time, look at how crazy our world is. Just trust me on this. Diversify, 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 right? You get $5,000 right now of free silver on a qualifying purchase if you tell them that Sara sent you, and that is Allegiance Gold. I want you to go to allegiancegold.com/Carter, and you will get $5,000 of free silver on a qualifying purchase when you tell them that Sara sent you. So don't wait. Call or click today, 877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA, SARA, or go to protectwithsara.com. We can't control the Biden administration, folks, but we can prepare. That's 877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA, SARA, or go to protectwithsara.com. So earlier this week, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey declared a state of emergency in her state. So Massachusetts is a sanctuary state. And Healey has spoken fondly about all these sanctuary cities throughout her career in the past, including at events, of course, because, we shouldn't have borders. Every human being is a human being. They're all a bunch of just either they're complete idiots or they're just lying straight in your face. And I think for the most part, they're lying straight in your face because they know that, yes, we are all humans, Governor. The beautiful state of Massachusetts. We're all humans. But guess what? There are young kids being kidnapped, being trafficked. There are women being trafficked. There is so much fentanyl coming across that border into the United States. It can kill our country. I don't even know how many times over. We hear that all the time. Our children are dying in the streets. We have a crisis across many of our cities. Many of these huge humanitarian, I would call U.S. crises, are happening in Democratic-run cities. We've seen homicide rates quadruple, triple, and just since Biden has come into office. I was just in Oakland. I couldn't even believe what I was seeing, what I was hearing. I couldn't even imagine what it was like for people that live there who say they just can't take it anymore. This beautiful city now being riddled with crime, 80% homicide increase since 2019. And now we're looking at these sanctuary cities where we see bustle. And I've been reporting this forever. I've been reporting this. And I think what's happened, and I'm going to play this clip of the governor of Massachusetts first, but I think what happened is at first, I really do believe that they thought we were lying to them. I mean, I've been working on the border now for 20 years. So for some of you who have been following me that long, thank you so much. I remember you from when I was back in Ontario, California, covering these issues at the Daily Bulletin and getting emails from you. And I'm still getting emails from you or tweets. So thank you so much for continuing to follow my work. But I really do believe that for the most part, when Americans are not being appropriately given the information that they need to make the right decisions, meaning that CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, or other left-leaning newspapers or news agencies are withholding information, and Americans don't live near the border, they don't really see what's going on. They don't really know what's going on. I mean, you might not know what's going on. You might be like, well, I don't see that in my community, Sara. I'm sitting here, I go downtown, I grab my coffee and I go home and I'm not really seeing it. Although I think most of you are seeing it now because you're seeing it in the form of narcotics and addiction rates skyrocketing. You're seeing more people sleeping on the streets and things of that nature. But I do believe that for a point in time, it was this idea of we're not going to talk about the elephant in the room. We're going to push forward with a policy, I believe, purposefully set up this open borders policy to get more votes. I do believe that. I do believe that they thought, like, if we just let the border flood, right, we overwhelm our cities with people that are going to be dependent and reliant on the state. And their children will be dependent and reliant on the state. Well, what party is best for that? Well, that's the Democrats. It's not best for the people that are coming in here. It's not best for the Americans that live here, that are looking for jobs, that are having a difficult time, managing their lives. But I believe that wholeheartedly, they thought if we just turn the other way, we'll leave the spigot open as long as we can, and then we'll shut it down before it goes bad, things will be better. The problem is they've left the spigot open forever. And things are so far worse than we could ever imagine. And Americans are waking up and saying, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And even Democrats are waking up, right? But I want you to take a listen to Governor Healey. And this is just a few days ago.
As of today, close to 5,600 families with children are living in state-funded shelters, hotels, dorms, and other emergency facilities across Massachusetts. That figure is 80% higher than it was just 1 year ago. It represents more than 20,000 people, growing every day. These families include newborns, very young children, and expecting mothers. It's more families than our state has ever served, exponentially more than our state has ever served in our emergency assistance program.
So the governor declared a state of emergency in Massachusetts earlier this week. But this is not what she sounded like before. She was actually marching to the beat of a different drum in the past. Here's an event a few years ago. I want you to take a listen to her here and listen to the difference. I'm going to give her credit for at least declaring the state of emergency, but I'm also going to blame her for not calling out exactly why this has happened. And it's because of Democrat policies and the Biden administration. But listen to her a few years ago, and you'll see where this all started. Listen to this.
Here's where I come down on that. I think it's really important that cities and towns have the ability, have the exercise the prerogative to label themselves whatever they want to label themselves. And if they want to take on a sanctuary city designation, I think that's great.
That's exactly it. Did you hear that? That's exactly what she is saying. She is saying, like, yeah, I think states should have that prerogative. I think we should take that on. I want you to think about the hypocrisy in all of this. I know you're probably sitting at home wondering, like, how hard you work. Where do all your tax dollars go? How is this even happening in the United States of America? Well, because we have lawmakers who we are not holding accountable. Because we have lawmakers who have made decisions for the American people that run directly contrary to putting America first, or putting our families first, or our communities first. And that is the reason why this is happening. That's the real reason why this is happening, including the governor. And so, I mean, when you hear these kind of statements, you have to take a step back and say to yourself, you know, maybe you are not the right person for the job. Now, I'm going to do something here that I don't normally do. I'm going to say at least, and I'm going to give them credit for this, at least they are now admitting there is a problem. And the only reason they're admitting is because they're really feeling it in their pocketbooks, the pressure from their constituents, whether they're Democrats or Republicans or Green Party members or Libertarians, whatever they are feeling the pressure. And in America, that pressure comes in votes. And you can lose. When people are upset enough, you lose your job, right? Terry McAuliffe, right? Remember Virginia? Remember what happened there? When Governor Glenn Youngkin was elected, he was elected because people were sick and tired of being lied to. They were sick and tired of being toyed with. This is very, very important. And this is what we're starting to see. It's like a wake-up call, right? So Mayorkas, DHS, the unsecretary, the secretary of nothing, the secretary that makes things worse, the secretary of lies, Mayorkas, the secretary of, I'm going to leave an open border, even though I'm supposed to be the guy in charge of protecting the borders. That secretary continues to lie. So we're seeing the governor. She's coming around to her senses here in Massachusetts. That's why the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, is saying the same thing right now. But why are so many leftists so willing to, basically call for open borders? Except when it affects them. And it will affect everyone. It will affect everyone. When I'm down at the border and I see thousands, or I'm in Central America, thousands of men, not just family units. We have enough to deal with the family units, but the majority of people coming into our country are military age males, and they're coming across our border. And, this is where the governor's wrong. Actually, both governors, they're trying to placate everybody who crosses the border as being somebody who's coming from a violent-ridden country or facing some kind of an extreme circumstance. That's not the case, folks. Let me tell you exactly what the majority of those people are facing. They don't have jobs, or they can't get jobs because they were former gang members. And in their country, they're not going to get hired. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people in those nations. I spent a lot of time in Guatemala, in El Salvador. So these people are leaving and coming here because they're looking for sanctuary from basically their criminal past with the Biden administration. That's, in reality, that's a lot of what is going on there. Because I want to ask you, and I want you to think about this. How many of you live in a city where, you hear about gang violence? I mean, even here in Texas, Dallas, Texas, Houston, right? Austin, where there are shootings, or in Chicago, Baltimore, New York City, Oakland, California, where homicides have gone up 80%, Los Angeles, California, San Francisco, where you have homicides increasing. Our kids are on the streets. They're being targeted. We got kids that can't even walk to school without having the fear that they may be caught up in a, crossfire of gang shooting. So where can our kids go to? What nation will take our children from these gang-ridden cities? What sanctuary do our children have? I really want you to think about that. Where is their sanctuary city? Right? Where is the sanctuary city for all the children being trafficked into the United States by criminal networks and by people that are selling them here to perverts and pedophiles? We have all of these children being trafficked in the United States. We have an issue with, of course, criminal enterprises taking advantage of the migrants once they get here and putting them into servitude. And so we have problems here in America. It's here in America. We keep hearing about all the people coming here because, oh my gosh, life for them is so tough. Life for many Americans is tough. It's tough for all of us. But where do our children go in the inner city? What peace do they find? When do our children in Oakland, San Francisco, Baltimore, New York, LA, when do they come first? Dallas, Austin, Houston, or small rural communities, when do our children and our people come first? And I'm going to be frank with you. The most racist thing that anybody can do is not be straight up and honest with someone. You don't need to walk away from anything. You can ask the right questions. Asking someone, hey, why are you coming here? If it's for economic reasons, I'm really sorry, but that's not an asylum reason. That's not a reason for asylum. You need to apply like the rest of the people. That's not racism. That's straight up. That's just facts. We're all human beings. We can all handle it. I travel the whole world. I hope that I am the kind of person, and I always try to be, that is straight up with everybody. I don't ever feel like ashamed of having to say something or having to defend my family or my country or talking to people honestly about what I think is going on here. I don't ever feel that way. Sometimes I wonder why I have so many pets, but I don't ever feel that way with people. And I think that we've forgotten that. Here's a Fox News report, and this is really a really important little statement here that I think is something that I want to get to. But this is in Fox News, and this is with Massachusetts, and I'm going to go right back to that. It said the state said there are nearly 5,600 families or more than 20,000 people in the state shelter system. Healey said there are numerous contributing factors, including federal policies on immigration and work authorization. as well as a lack of affordable housing and the end of a COVID era program. That's really interesting. Because if we're facing this kind of situation and we're facing this on multiple levels, then we have a serious crisis. And I don't know about you, but I get on planes. I travel all the time. I mean, it's crazy how much and how many miles I've gotten over the last year because I have really traveled all over this country. And just last week, I mean, literally all over the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast to the Midwest. I was everywhere. And as I get on the planes, I see the illegal migrants coming on board with little plastic Ziploc bags and their information in there. Some of them just, it's sad. They look, alone, or they're heading somewhere to meet a family member. Sometimes I talk to them. Some of them are from Cuba. Some of them are from Venezuela. Some are from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras. Some people from as far away as Romania, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Seen that as well. Everywhere in the world that you can imagine, different states in Africa. And they're getting on board the planes and they're just being shipped off to wherever. And then I'm thinking to myself, who's paying for this? Who's paying for the plane ride? Who's going to take care of them when they arrive in the city? Why, when I went to El Paso, were so many people sleeping on the sidewalks with nowhere to go? Why do I see that in Oakland? Why do I see that when I travel through small towns in the Midwest? What is going on here? What about the 85,000 children that have literally vanished off of the rolls from HHS, from Health and Human Services? They were supposed to be keeping track of these kids and now they're gone. Folks, this is not okay. We are facing a crisis in our nation. We're facing a crisis across the board. Many of us have gotten to our wits' end with this. I think a lot of people are wondering, and I've talked to Democrats too and Republicans. Look, I don't care about your political party, your affiliations, but I know one thing. If we just start talking about policies, if we take out the faces, the Biden, the Trump, the Nikki Haley's, the DeSantis, the whoever, the Governor Newsom, right? The Viveks, all of the faces, take out the personalities and just talk about the policy. But if you take those policies and you focus on the policy and you don't focus right away on the face or the personality, but you focus on okay, these are the policies, these are the things I want changed. What party is more likely to give that to me and my family? How are we going to survive? How can we work together? Once we get into that realm, once we stop yelling at each other and we start holding our lawmakers accountable, once we get to that, my gosh, we can really achieve so many great things. We can really make a difference in our country. That I truly believe. I love Mike Lindell, and this is his 20th anniversary sale, folks. This is it, 20 years of MyPillow. Beautiful MyPillows, right? Soft to the touch. Now the MyPillow 2.0. I'm very excited about that. Right now, the queen size limited edition of MyPillows, regular price are $69.98. Now, guess what? You're going to get them for $19.98. That's for Sara Carter listeners, and just $10 more for a king size. Go to mypillow.com/Carter, promo code Carter, or call 1-800-685-7221. That's 1-800-685-7221. I might be able to teach Torchy to say that herself. Who knows? She's getting to be a talker. Yes, she is. mypillow.com/Carter, promo code Carter, or call 1-800-685-7221. 7221. Choose your size and fill level made with our patented interlocking fill. That's all because of Mike Lindell. So go to mypillow.com/Carter and use promo code Carter to get the queen size MyPillow for only $19.98. Yes, during Mike's MyPillow 20th anniversary sale, or call 1-800-685-7221. There you'll find not only the amazing offer, but also deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the MyPillow slippers, pet beds. You got to make some for Torchy, Mike, blankets, and more. Get the best night's sleep on mypillow.com/Carter and use promo code Carter, or call 1-800-685-7221. mypillow.com/Carter, promo code Carter. It looks like Torchy really loved that commercial from Mike Lindell. She is a MyPillow fan. So do you think we'll see this become a major issue in the 2024 general election? Yes, I do believe this will be one of the biggest issues come 2024. So people who are not paying attention to it in the media, you are going to be way behind the curveball on this. Folks, we need you to reach out to your lawmakers. You are the only one that can make a difference here. Please, please do the job. It's not that much time left. Just give 1 hour a day. Focus on the upcoming election. Focus on what you and your family need most. Hold your lawmakers accountable. Do what's right for your family and for your country. Let me know in the comments, will you vote based on this issue? Thank you so much. If you love today's show and want even more of the Sara Carter Show, make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars and subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Follow me on Truth at Sara Carter Official, on Twitter at Sara Carter DC, and on Instagram at SCarterDC. God bless you. God bless our great nation. God bless all the people in the world who are suffering and do want to come here. I know you want to be a part of this country, but we've got to keep it this way in an effort to help you and your families in the future. We got to do it the right way. And God bless the great state of Texas and little Torchy. Thanks for being a part of the show. Bye, everyone.